Hey guys, so I think you're a little bit crooked. I'm sorry about that. I don't really know what to do about that. But I was filming a video with this setup and my camera died. So now we're filming it again. Great. Here we go again, round 2. So this video is going to be about the 20 things I've learned in my 20 years of life. I will be 20 come May 13th, which as you're watching this will be this upcoming Sunday, but as I'm filming this is next Sunday. So today is May 4th. So also today that you're watching this video should be Tuesday, which will be the day that I have announced my giveaway winner. So what I'm going to do, obviously, since as I'm filming this, you guys still have time to enter the giveaway, but as you're seeing this, the timeline has stopped. So I'm going to put the giveaway winner's name here and in the description box, and I will also announce it on my Instagram and on my Twitter, so if you follow me on those, you can check me out there. But, you know, just know that I'm not going to verbally say it because I don't know yet. So let's go ahead and get started because this is going to be a long one. So the first thing I've learned as an adult is not everyone will like you. And that's a very self-explanatory thing. Obviously not everyone is going to like you, but when you come to the realization, like the true realization that not everyone will like you, then that's the point where you stop caring. You stop caring about what people think about you, what you're wearing. You wear what you want to wear, you feel good in it, you go out in the world, you don't care what other people think. And it's a very, like, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess freeing feeling, liberating, that's the word. It's a very liberating feeling because you just do what you want to do and you don't care what other people think about you. Number 2 is some people don't grow up, and that is something that I think a lot of younger people kind of don't realize. Like, I remember as a kid, I had this imagination of what it would be like as an adult, living in the adult world, and then as I was growing up, I realized that I enjoyed the company of adults more because the people my age were not very mature, and I didn't want to be around people who, you know, were inappropriate and immature, and I didn't enjoy that. But as I continued to grow up, I realized that some adults just don't ever mature, and they stay like a 13-year-old in their head their whole life. And that's something that took me not too long to realize, but, you know, like I said, as I grew up and started to be around more adults and more people who were becoming adults, I realized that, well, some adults just never mature. And that's also something that if you're younger and you think that, you know, adults know everything and they're the smartest people in the world, that's not true. Adults don't know everything, and people who you respect as adults, you may grow up later in life and realize, wow, they were a really terrible person, you know, or whatever. So just keep that in mind. A lot of people do mature into very, you know, well-rounded adults, but a lot of adults also don't, and they end up frustrating you pretty much. People change. So again, this is pretty self-explanatory, but you have to realize that people who you may have known your entire life will continue to change. And I know my grandmother has, you know, been pretty much the same person her whole life, but, you know, every single year something different happens. You know, she may have a different outlook on this or whatever, but people change as their environment changes, as the people they surround themselves with change. You begin to change. It's just inevitable. Change is inevitable. As technology enhances and all of this stuff, you have to change or else you'll be stuck in the past. And so you have to realize that as people change, sometimes people change for better, sometimes they don't. And if you care enough about that person, you can either work through those changes with them, or you may realize that the changes that they're making don't suit the changes you're making, and you have to decide what you want to do with that. Number 4 is to be smart and educate yourself. This video is going a lot faster than the last one because I started rambling in the last one, but be smart and educate yourself. And that doesn't mean like going to college and all of that stuff, but if you want to sound intelligent and you want to have an opinion, you kind of need facts. Now, I know a lot of people don't think that way, and some people just spew their opinion as if they're facts, but I remember doing this research paper in college, and we had to write all of these papers leading up to our final paper. And our final paper, because our teacher, the papers we had written previously were all research-based papers. Like, here's my findings, here's what I learned. And then our last paper was we could actually make opinions and comments on what we had learned and what we were talking about and we could put those opinions into a paper, because that at that point we had done all the research and had the knowledge to make a very informative opinion. And so if you want to sound smart or be smart and not sound ignorant and, for lack of a better word, dumb, then doing your research on things as far as anything goes, you know, not just like politics, you know, which is a big one that people don't care to do research on, but politics, religion, all of those things, even just general, like, you know, food safety, you know, whatever you are thinking about, even like movies, like if you want to sound smart and make an intelligible conversation and have very informative opinions that you can back up with facts, and then you'll become a much smarter person. You'll realize that a lot of people don't know what they're talking about, and they sound very confident in what they're saying, but what they're saying is not true. So if you become knowledgeable, you can inform them and basically become a know-it-all, but in a good way. Ignorance is not always bliss. So ignorance is sometimes a good thing. Sometimes there is such thing as knowing too much and your mind just kind of gets overwhelmed. But not knowing anything or being ignorant about very important topics is not great, because again, other people around you may be having this intelligent conversation and may ask you what you think, and you have no idea what they're talking about and you sound dumb, or they, you know, realize that you don't know what you're talking about, and so they don't respect your opinion. So sometimes becoming knowledgeable of certain things is a good thing, and being ignorant is not always great, and is sometimes very frustrating. You will have to do things that you don't enjoy, and that's a very, like, again, I think a lot of these statements are very generic, you know, and very self-explanatory, but they're good things to learn. So there are things that you have to do in life that you're not gonna like, and that's just the cold hard truth. I don't want to spend my money on toilet paper, but I gotta wipe my ass with something, so I'm gonna spend it on toilet paper because I'm not using, because I know some people, like, you know, reduce, reuse, recycle and use like cloths, but I think that's gross and unsanitary, so I'm going to use toilet paper, you know, but I don't want to spend my money on that. I'd rather spend my money on food, you know. But there are some things in life you gotta do, and you gotta get through the tough things, and you gotta work through the hard things, and sometimes it's not fun, sometimes it really, really sucks, but sometimes it's just what you gotta do. Don't compare yourself to life in the movies. Now this is more for like younger audiences, younger people who grow up watching TV and watching movies and expect this certain outcome in life, and sometimes that outcome is not always going to happen. You're not always going to be straight because most movies are still, you know, having straight couples, so you may grow up and realize that you're not straight. Great. You may realize that if you are straight, like in the movies, you're not going to, you know, meet the man of your dream right away. You're not going to have the love at first sight right away. You're probably not going to meet this guy, fall in love, you get in a fight, and then you expect this grand, you know, apology or whatever, because you're going to be disappointed, because sometimes you have to go through life, and you go through life, you go through relationships, hard things happen, and sometimes it always doesn't work out in the end, you know. Sometimes there's no happy ending, but that doesn't always mean that there's never going to be a happy ending. It's just that chapter in your life may not be the chapter for you, and you just have to move on to the next chapter and see what that one offers. You don't need a partner, so that's the other thing. So again, growing up watching movies and all this stuff, you know, there's always a romantic partner, there's always a romantic interest, and a lot of people think that that's what they need. That's what they need to validate them and to feel some sort of worth. They need this romantic partner in their life because that's what makes them feel like a worthy person. But that's not true. You don't need someone to validate yourself. You don't need someone to be there to constantly tell you, you know, you're pretty or you're funny or whatever. And you don't need someone, you definitely don't need to be in a relationship because that's where you feel like you get your worth from, because you definitely don't. You should get your worth from yourself and how you think about yourself and how you present yourself, because if you're happy with yourself, then you don't really care what other people think. And that goes back to the other thing that I was saying. Let's see, the next one is you can do whatever the hell you want, but there will be consequences, both good and bad. So this is more for adults because, again, younger children, obviously you have to listen to your parents until you get to an age where you don't have to listen to your parents anymore. But when you're an adult, you know, I could do whatever the hell I want to do. I can go out and kill people. I can go out and, you know, do terrible things. I can go out and spend all my money. I can eat ice cream every single morning for breakfast, but there will be consequences to every single action that I make. Now, obviously, all of those actions will probably have negative consequences, but there are actions that I can choose to make that will have positive consequences. I can continue to go to school and work hard. I can continue to, you know, go to work and make money. I can continue to do whatever, and whatever I choose to do, I just have to understand, and whatever you choose to do as an adult, you have to understand that there will be consequences for whatever actions you are making or whatever choices you're making, and you have to come to accept those actions and those reactions to your actions. You know, you have to accept that whatever you do, there will be a consequence. You have to judge if the consequence is worth it or not, and then go forth with whatever decision you make. Money does not buy happiness, and that is something that I think a lot of people kind of, I don't know, some people think, you know, well, if I had, you know, this much money, then I would be happy for the rest of my life. And that's not true. Like, I have, like, I'm not going to tell you like a figure number of the amount of money I have, because, you know, to some people it's a lot, to other people it's not a lot. To me, it's a lot for someone my age, but that doesn't mean that I am always happy because of all this money that I have, or lack of money that I have. I stress about money a lot. It's not something that I enjoy doing. I would much rather, you know, not have all the fiscal responsibilities that I do have. But again, those are the choices that I've made. I chose to own a house. I chose the fiscal responsibilities that come with that. I chose to have like 6 animals, so I have to accept the consequences that come with that, and I'm okay with that. But again, I also get in this trap of, if I won the lottery, I would be set for life, I would be so happy. But I've also realized that, you know, where I stand in my life, I know a lot of people would be jealous of where I am in my life, but that doesn't mean that I am like a super happy person. That doesn't mean that I am always happy because I have this money, because I would give up all of my money to be able to see my mom again, you know, because that's something that people don't realize, that just because you have money doesn't mean you're happy, and doesn't mean that you wouldn't give that money up for other things. So it doesn't mean you're selfish. It doesn't mean that you're, you know, a money hungry person. I would give up everything that I have to be able to see my mother again, but I cannot because she is not here anymore. So I am fortunate that the money she has left me has helped me in my life, but of course I would give it all back for her. So my cats are fighting. But yeah, so money doesn't always buy you happiness, and don't think that money is going to buy you happiness, because if you base your life around money, you eventually, I don't know, I just feel like you would eventually get to this point of greed, and people don't like that. Education is not everything. So I am in college, and I have learned that a lot of people who aren't in college can do way better off than I'm doing right now. Micah is doing way better off than I'm doing as far as, like, you know, income and things like that goes. He works for a very well-known company called Honda Jet, and he makes way more money than I do. I wish I made that much money, but he didn't have to go to school for that. He went to technical school for a year and then got a job right out of that. So you don't need an education to be successful. You don't need an education to be smart. You just need to know, you need a maturity about yourself, and you also need to know how to go about things. So again, you need to do your research on topics that you want to, you know, sound smart when you're talking about those topics, and you need to be able to have a good, strong work ethic, and be able to work hard and earn the things that you want. See, treating people is right. Treating people right is better than being successful. There we go. So a lot of people who are very successful, you hear like these stories about terrible bosses who are super rich, who don't do anything for their workers, those type of people. Just because you're successful doesn't mean you're a nice person. It doesn't mean you're always going to be liked by other people. Again, you may be super rich and not give a shit, but again, money doesn't buy you happiness. So you may have all this money, but you have no friends and you're alone. So, you know, to me, I would rather have enough money to get by, or no money at all, but have really good friends who are there to help me and support me, and not just like give me money, but will be there to support me when I'm going through tough times, rather than have all this money and be sad and then have no one to talk to, you know? And so just because someone is successful doesn't always mean that they're nice, but if you end up being successful, then be nice to people, and just be nice to people in general, because that's just, being nice gets you farther, I think, than being mean. Sometimes you have to be your own coach. So not everyone is going to, again, when you reach to this point, when you reach a point of adulthood where you have to do things on your own, you have to be your own motivator and motivate yourself to get things done, or otherwise they won't get done. And so sometimes you don't have someone there that's pushing you to get something done, and you procrastinate and you get lazy, and then your power goes out because you didn't pay your light bill, or you know, you fail a class because you didn't turn in any of your work in time. So you have to be you don't necessarily have to be motivated, but you have to yourself to do the things that have to be done. That's like one that I think a lot of people kind of roll their eyes at, but like, please drink water. Drinking water is, one, healthier for you, but also it's just like, your body needs water. You know, you can't survive off of caffeine drinks every single day. Like, your body needs water, and it's just smart to drink water. I know a lot of people have a hard time of reaching like the amount of water that you're supposed to have every single day, but you know, try to at least drink like a bottle of water a day, because that's just gonna do you so much better off. Pets are a huge responsibility. So I have 6 of them, 7 if you count the hamster. They are a lot of work. You may look at that puppy in the store and think, oh my gosh, it's so cute. You may go to the animal shelter and see a cat like Martin, who is $10 to adopt him, but you have to realize that if you want to A, be a responsible pet owner, and B, be able to enjoy your pet for an extended period of time, you have to be able to afford it, and you have to be able to take care of it. So feeding your pet every single day is a chore, you know, but not just a chore like a kid's chore. It's a chore in that you may be busy, you may have to skip out on other things. I know with my dogs, I have to feed them on a set schedule. I could feed them later if I wanted to, but they're dogs and they need a routine. The cats, they're a little bit different. Also, the dogs take more time to go potty, so I have to take them out individually, stand outside with them to make sure they go potty, and I don't want to come home at midnight, you know, after a night of partying and remember to feed my dogs and take them outside, because that's just, it's not a responsible thing to do. Also, you have to be able to afford vet bills. You have to be able to afford it when things go wrong. Mr. J a while back had pneumonia, and it cost me about $700 to get him well again. So you have to take in consideration the things that will cost you money, not just you, because you can plan out like, cat litter cost me this much, dog food cost me this much. My cat's scratching on the cat post, so ignore that. But you also have to plan in contingency things like when a pet gets sick, or if they get hurt, or what happens at that point in time. They're big responsibilities, so just because it's cute doesn't mean you should get it. Take time for yourself by yourself. So I know for me it's very easy to do that because I am a very introverted person. I don't seek out, you know, other people's attention or affection, and I don't care one way or the other if I'm around people or not. I prefer to be by myself, but I know a lot of people who are very extroverted and are very busy, you know, with other people, surrounding themselves with other people, having a lot of fun with friends. But it's good to just kind of take time to yourself and relax and enjoy your own company. And because sometimes when you get caught up with other people, you kind of lose sight of who you are as a person, and you take on all these traits of all these other people. But it's good to just kind of be yourself and learn who that person is, learn who you are, and evaluate yourself. I do a lot of self-evaluation in my own time. I think about, you know, why did I get mad at that point in time? Was it because I was jealous? Was it because I was, you know, whatever? I do a lot of self-evaluating, and it helps me in the future when something happens and I have this emotion and I think about it and I process that emotion. I think, why am I feeling that way? I'm able to acknowledge it and I'm able to move on from it. So I think getting to know yourself and getting to accept yourself is a very, very good and positive thing. Experiences. So creating new experiences isn't, you know, going scuba diving, isn't expensive, you know, just, you know, do new that you've never done before. Watching either a YouTube video or doing research on a topic you've never heard of before. I remember my friend, his name is Zach, he's Mormon. I am not. I am a Methodist Christian. I have a coworker who is Egyptian, and she is, hold on, let me think, it'll come to me. There we go. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. And so not all three of us, but I've had conversations with her and I've had conversations with Zach about their religion, and I don't, you know, butt in. I don't say like, you're wrong. I take what they say and I think, wow, that's really cool. That's really different. I like that. And I respect their religion. I respect their opinion. And I don't tell them that they're wrong. I don't tell them that they're stupid. I don't tell them they're going to hell. I just listen to what they have to say and I learn from it. And that's a new experience for me. I learn more about their religion. I learn what they think. I learn so that way I can, you know, know how to be respectful, because sometimes, you know, you may offend somebody because of their religion, but you don't know that because you don't know. So I like to, you know, just learn new things and be educated, so that way I am, one, not offensive, but also two, so I can, you know, just better inform myself. Hello. Excuse you. There's my camera that died. I had to set it back there. Not promised. So I know this is a kind of a morbid thing, but I think about death on almost an everyday basis. And that's part of the reason why I got this tattoo. I'll put a link to that video below. There's something in my eyeball. Cool. I think it's like a mascara bit that got in my eye. But it's part of the reason why I got this tattoo, because I have thanatophobia, something like that. But I think about death on a constant everyday basis, which is not a good thing, but it has helped me realize that, you know, well, I think about this all the time anyway. Excuse you. But tomorrow isn't promised. So really, for me, I got to this point in my life where I would just be so worried about everyone in my life, about them like going out and getting hurt and dying, and that just like freaked me out, and I didn't want anyone to do anything because I just wanted them to like not die, you know, or not be in an environment where something could happen. So like right now, Micah is away at an airsoft event. He is currently in a whole different state, and I, you know, worried about him. I worried about, you know, what if he gets in a wreck? What if someone brings a real gun? What if someone, you know, on all this stuff? And it's just like, it's so detrimental, one, to my mental health, and two, to just like everything in my brain. It just is not good for me to think that way. But it also helps me realize that, you know, maybe tomorrow isn't promised, but that doesn't mean that I should worry about tomorrow. I'll wait till tomorrow comes. So I should enjoy today and enjoy the now and embrace now and not worry about tomorrow until tomorrow comes. I'm sorry, my cats are being so distracting. Crow, what are you doing? Fuck what people think about you. I think I mentioned that in the other one earlier on, but again, people just don't give a shit about what other people think about you. Do what you want to do whatever makes you happy. As long as you're not hurting someone else, and as long as you're not hurting yourself, then, you know, do whatever you want to do what makes you happy. God. If you don't ask for an apology, you'll never get one. So this is one that I kind of realized as I got into a relationship, that me and Micah constantly have this argument of, he did something that I don't agree with, but he doesn't think it's a wrong thing, you know, like maybe I get mad at him for I don't know, saying something a certain way, and he's very bad with his words, so how he words things are not always like the best, you know, and sometimes it hurts my feelings, but he doesn't realize that it's upset me, so I have to tell him and, you know, say like, I would like an apology for this or whatever. So because if I don't ask for that, then I'll never get one, because he'll never think that what he did was wrong, and he'll never apologize for that. So if I think I deserved an apology and something hurt my feelings, I have to vocalize that, because otherwise then I'll just get upset and he'll not realize why I'm upset, and then I'll never, you know, we'll never have a conclusion. So I think that's everything that I had for this video. So that is everything for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, go down below, subscribe. Also make sure to check the description box or previously in this video for the giveaway winner. You can also check my Instagram and my Twitter. I will have announced them there. Good luck to you guys. I don't know who has won yet, so congratulations whoever that is. But I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!